Haley Outen here at the ADN studio. Exciting news across the league today as the 2016 football schedule has officially been released. It's going to be another great year filled with some highly anticipated rematches from last season, as well as a tough non-conference slate. The schedule includes games against 8 of the top 14 teams in last year's final AP poll, 9 games against the ACC, 5 versus the Big Ten, 4 against the Big 12, and 2 versus the SEC, plus independent powers Notre Dame and BYU. The college football season will kick off on a Thursday night, September 1st for 3 teams in the American, highlighted by Willie Fritz's first game as head coach at Tulane. The Green Wave will take on Wake Forest on the road in their season opener. Overall, there will be 5 Thursday night primetime games on ESPN. Just 3 weeks into the fall, Cincinnati will host Houston. The Cougars picked up their 10th consecutive win against the Bearcats in 2015 with a 33-30 victory on a rainy day in Houston. But this time, UC will have the home field advantage in Nippert. Heading into October, we will get to see Memphis and Temple square off again in the first week of the month. Last season, the Owls notched the key victory against the Tigers in the second to last game of the season en route to their American East Division title. The Temple defense was the story in that one as they held the prolific Memphis offense to just 12 points. All of those points were from field goals. Later in the month, USF will head to Temple for what should be an interesting rematch. The Bulls knocked the Owls off in 2015 when the Cherry and White were riding 4 straight weeks in the top 25. The American will also be featured in 9 Friday night games on the ESPN family of networks. Taking a look at the non-conference lineup, here are some key games to mark on your calendar. Tom Herman and the Cougars will open up their 2016 campaign at home against Oklahoma at Reliance Stadium. The Cougars are coming off a Peach Bowl win over then number 9 Florida State, while the Sooners lost to Clemson in the semifinals of the college football playoff. Both programs finished the year ranked in the top 8 in the AP poll. This is also the only matchup between top 10 teams in the first week of the season. Another key non-conference game to keep an eye out for comes much later in the year for the Cougs. In the second to last week of the season, they will host Louisville in a primetime Thursday night matchup on ESPN. Houston won on the road last year 34-31 over the Cardinals. In its second year in the conference, Navy will have another challenging non-conference slate. The first week of November, they will host Notre Dame. Last year, the Mids put up a good fight in South Bend, but came up short, and we caught a glimpse of future Navy starter Tago Smith, who entered the game for an injured Keenan Reynolds. The midshipmen will also have defending the Commander-in-Chief trophy on their mind with games against Air Force and Army. Temple fans no doubt have a certain in-state rivalry they are looking forward to. Last season, the Owls made history defeating Penn State for the first time since 1941. In the third week of the season, they will make the trek up to State College to hopefully repeat some of the magic from 2015. Another out-of-conference storyline is a tough stretch of games for East Carolina, who faces NC State, South Carolina, and Virginia Tech over 3 consecutive weeks in September. It will be the third time in 4 years that ECU will face at least 2 teams from the ACC. The Pirates have won their last 5 games against ACC opponents, and as a conference, the American was 6-4 against the ACC in 2015. That same weekend, USF will host Florida State. The Bulls beat the Seminoles in Tallahassee in 2009, but FSU has won the last 2. Some great out-of-conference games and opportunities to make a big statement, but there's a few more games we have circled here that we can't wait to see. In mid-October, Tulane will hit the road to take on Tulsa, and if you remember this game from last season, it looked like the Green Wave were about to notch the win, but then back-to-back pick sixes flipped the script and made first-year head coach Philip Montgomery and the Golden Hurricane bowl eligible. And you can bet Houston has the UConn game circled on their calendar the first week of October. The Huskies ended the Cougars' perfect season in stores in November last year. A bump in the road for UH, but they would go on to win the conference championship as well as the Peach Bowl on New Year's Eve. It was the only loss for Tom Herman's crew in 2015. Somebody looking to get another chance at Houston, though, might be the Memphis Tigers. This game had one of the craziest finishes we saw all last year. Backup Houston QB Kyle Postma came into the game for an injured Greg Ward and led the Cougs back from a 20-point deficit. The game would come down to a Memphis field goal to win it, but it was no good, and Houston would hold on to keep their perfect record at the time. Memphis and Cincinnati have developed a nice rivalry in 3 years of American play. The Bearcats lost a tough one on the road to the Tigers last season, another one that came down to the final play in a primetime Thursday night tilt. These two will meet again in the end of November on a Friday night, and you can catch it on CBS Sports Network. Keeping it rolling with the theme of redemption, East Carolina will look to get another chance at Cincinnati. The Pirates have lost late-game heartbreakers to the Bearcats each of the past 2 seasons, and ECU and Cincinnati will meet in mid-October in an East Division clash. And last but certainly not least, we will see the West Division co-champions go at it again, this time earlier in the season in the first week of October in Annapolis. Houston and Navy ended the year as co-champions with the same league record, but the head-to-head win sent the Cougars to the American Championship. And of course, we have the championship game circled too. The winners of the East and West will play for the outright title on December 3rd of 2016. For a full look at the 2016 American football schedule, head to theamerican.org. College football will be back before we know it. For the American Digital Network, I'm Haley Outen.